Welcome to the analysis of Bitcoin. Thanks for joining me here. My name is Vic. A lot of you have actually approached me privately asking me to give my version of analysis on Bitcoin. There has been a lot of speculation, and the Bitcoin suddenly started to move upwards from here. And that's why a lot of interest is there in the market around Bitcoin right now. Do not worry about what press is saying or what media is saying or what hedge fund manager is saying or whatever, right? What you should do if you are a good trader or if you want to become a good trader, you must trade what you see on the chart. Now, investment and trading can be a little different, but this technical analysis is more targeted towards trading. So we are going to look at the structures from technical point of view, just purely from technical perspective. Okay, so this is technical analysis on Bitcoin. What we are going to do is start from monthly time frame. In fact, we can go to a yearly time frame to see what has been happening. But you will notice that there has not been much of history in here, so we can't much we cannot use it for technical analysis as of now. So let's look at the monthly time frame. Okay, on monthly time frame, I'm going to quickly remove the previous drawings. Okay, on monthly time frame, what we see here is that market moved upwards here, and then we have this midpoint here. So the market could be creating an M pattern, but it did not, because the M pattern has not been violated. The midpoint has not been violated. So this is an important level that we have. Okay, so market started to move upwards, and in that process it created a W pattern. I'm not sure whether you can actually spot this, but there is a W pattern, extended W pattern, and that is why it started to fall down. Now if you draw Fibonacci on this leg, you'll see that it has actually come very deep in there, and in that process it created another M pattern. And if you have been following my analysis, this is where I was long on Bitcoin. So because the M pattern was completed, that's why the market has been moving upwards and it has reached its potential target. In fact, it has actually gone much above its potential profit targets. Okay, so this level is also very important, because what will happen is, see, the market has created this M pattern here, but at the same time, whenever you see an M pattern, you get a W pattern as well. So it is also creating a potential M pattern, which can be something like this, and it can go extended version. Okay, so that's one case. Other one, so that's the bearish case on this. Okay, now on bullish side, what we have is there is a huge W pattern which is forming, which is something like here. Okay, so if this high is broken, then we are looking for an upward move into or even beyond that. Okay, and that will be something like, first of all, it will have to come to this level here. Okay, that's the maximum we are looking for. This level is also very, very important. Let me actually be a little more accurate here. Remember, this is based on a data provider. This is based on data provided by a broker, right? So your broker can provide a little bit different data, so there can be a little bit of differences. These levels may or may not be exact, so but we are looking for proximity to these levels anyway. So this is what we have. So if the market actually starts to move, if it actually breaks through this 13605, then we are looking at 16497, so near about 16500 level. Okay, so that's the bullish case for Bitcoin. Another one is right here. If you notice that market is creating, it has created a W pattern right here. It started to fall down. Now it is going back upwards to probably either test that 13605, or even just collecting stop losses and all that before it falls down. Because remember, when a W pattern forms, market is expected to go down. Okay, so let's quickly remove this and jump into this level. Okay, before we actually jump in here, we need to just put important levels in there in the market, which are very, very important. You can call them support and resistance, but they are not exactly support and resistance. They are more like important swing levels. Okay, so if I go to the weekly time frame, what you will notice that we have this W pattern here, right? And it has actually not reached its profit target yet. And in some of the providers and data providers, and you will notice that there are so many gaps which have been left. So there is one gap here, okay, and then there is one gap here, somewhere around here, and there is another one around 7,000. Okay, yeah, that is the one. Okay, and there is, sorry, so one gap is around here, second one is here, and the third gap is somewhere around 7,000. So I think it is somewhere around here. Okay, so these gaps are still there. And if you go back and look at the history of Bitcoin, you will notice that all the gaps which were there have been filled by Bitcoin. Okay, there are no more gaps left. So that increases a possibility that, okay, market may actually come back down to fill these gaps. But that's just one thing. It may or may not happen because gaps may or may not get filled. But just by looking at the previous history of gaps filling on Bitcoin, it has filled all the gaps. Okay, even if it goes upwards, it may come back down to fill those gaps. And look, the lowest gap, as I can see, is near about 7,600 or so. Okay, so now this is a W pattern here, and if you're not able to spot it, let me actually quickly draw something like this for you. So this is a W pattern which actually completed here, but it was supposed to go down, but it didn't. Right, so what we need to do is put this line in there. Okay, and approximately this level. Okay, so this is our level, and another level is around here. So this is our zone again. Okay, and that is what we have. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to go to the lower time frame to see what has been happening. There is a lot of things which are happening in this area, right? And like, the movement that you have seen so far is not that big. Like, now I know that it has actually created another high or something like that, right, for 2020, but you have to keep the things in perspective. Look at this. What's happening so far is that last week and last few weeks it has been going upwards, okay, and it has been going upwards here, but it has been falling as well. So far, if you look at this particular leg, it is in bullish momentum, right, because the market is creating higher highs, so as to say. Okay, but what you can also notice that market is creating a W pattern. So we have the previous bigger W pattern, which is uh, which is which has still not reached its potential target. Okay, and we have a smaller W pattern appearing here. Okay, so this is a very good supply zone that we have here. Okay, so the market is right there in that supply zone, and this is also an FCP zone, which is basically Fibonacci confluence pattern zone. Okay, I'll show you that in a second. So market is right in that zone, so it can be looking forward down to, like, this area as a profit target. But, like, because the market is so much bullish, like, at the moment here, it may try to reach this level first, 10,511, and only after that it can start to go back down. And you'll see that, this level of 10,540 also has, like, mid of the Bollinger Band available to it. Okay, I will only go for a long position if this FCP zone or supply is broken. Then I will look for something like this, but it has to go through that, and it may not be able to do so, because if I go to the daily time frame, you will see that we have a W pattern right there. Okay, so there are two W patterns, in fact three actually. Let me actually draw them for you. So one is like this. Okay, and the second one that we have is like this. Okay, and there is a third one which is basically like this, is a failed one, right? And whenever you have something like this appearing, market goes to a particular Fibonacci level around here. Okay, now what we can do here is start measuring and start building the case. So what I'm going to do is start to draw Fibonacci here, and because the market has gone upwards, it has come into 127.2, which is a good level, and you will see that 13605 also lies right at 1414 level. Okay, so this is a very good zone that we have, inside zone. Okay, so this is what we're looking at as inner FCP zone, you can call that. There is another important level which is around here. So if you're going for a short position going back in there, you should have, and that is going to be long term obviously. In that case, you should ideally have your stop loss somewhere around there, at least initial stop loss. Okay, unless you are doing, unless you are like using a low time frame to manage your stop loss. Okay, so this is what we have here. Then we also have this one, right? Because we had two. So look at this. This also lies exactly, it lines up nicely with that 13605. Okay, so this is also looking very good. So we are already in that zone. Okay, the maximum it can start going upwards is like 13605, near about that. But we can already see like the market has started to show sign of retracement a little bit. What we need to do is go to the weekly time frame once again and see what could be happening. Next week it can start to form another bullish candle if it actually closes like this. Okay, otherwise next week is going to be a bearish candle. That's what we can expect. Now the condition there is that if it closes below this level of 12486, then we are going to look at a bearish move, right? Then we can expect a bearish move. Okay, otherwise we can expect another little bit of bearishness or a spike up or things like that, and then a fall back down. Okay, now if we go to the 4 hour time frame, we have another W pattern right there available to us, and this is what we have, right? So if I, let me just change the color of it, it's too bright and we are not able to see it properly. Okay, so change this to some color which is not prevalent. Okay, 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 like this. Now what we are going to do is we are going to draw. Okay, so we have a W pattern here, and if you draw Fibonacci on this, you will know exactly where it came from. So initial reaction was this initial sell-off. Then we know that market was expected to go upwards because they will like to collect the stop losses. This is the stop loss collection movement. Okay, one important thing that you have is 13,000 level here, which is also very important. Let me just quickly go and change that. And this is the level, this is the struggling level right now. It tried to stay below this, but then it went back up to collect the stop loss, struggling with that. And it is also confluencing nicely with mid of the Bollinger Band right now. So if it actually breaks through that, then only we can expect something like this to be achieved. Okay, so this is what we have so far. We had initial sell-off, then stop loss hunting, and this stop loss hunting came right at the completion of this W pattern. If you're not able to spot that, then this is the W pattern that we had. Okay, it came right into 127.2. This is where the W pattern completes, and that's why the sell-off actually happened. Now how could you have known about this when you if you entered here? All you had to do is just make sure that you had gone to the 1 hour time frame. Okay, now you can see the W pattern much more clearly. But how would you have known about this if you were here? It's very simple. All you have to do is just draw the Fibonacci on this. Okay, this place is usually above 1313, so that's where the stop loss hunting happened. And now the market is falling. So what we will do, I'm already in for a short here, right? But I'm more aware of this, so I have not taken a huge short position, but I'll be building short positions based on few factors here. As soon as 13000 level, so 13,000 level is actually broken according to my conditions, then I'll add to my short positions once the pullback has been once the pullback has happened. So this is what we have on the Bitcoin. This is top down complete analysis on Bitcoin. And I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found this useful. If you did, make sure that you hit the like button, and in the comment section let me know what you think about this analysis and what is your opinion. Okay, because um, I'll wait for you to comment on this so that we can discuss it any further. If you have any of your ideas, let me know as well, and share it with other traders and trading communities. Right, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.